Hello, this is Alejandro Bratti from Believe in Yourself, Believe in Your Business, and welcome to the Spanglish World Network on Single TV channel 250 and 251. Please remember to download both the Single TV app on the respective app stores on iOS and Android devices while you download. Make sure to leave a comment and a rate. The app is free. Single TV is available in Google Chromecast, Amazon Fire, Roku, and all smart TVs. Today, I have the pleasure to have again my good friend Judy. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you for the invitation again. It is just such a pleasure to be with you again.
No, it's really awesome, and I am really happy and excited for today, Judy, because you are launching a program next week that is going to help really a lot of business owners and a lot of from small to big companies to really start to accelerate everything on this year. So tell me a little bit about that.
Okay. All right. So that your listeners understand, I am launching my online course, Accelerate Your Business Growth Using Strategic Planning, a simple 7-step process. So that's the course that I'm launching. And it is truly designed, as Alejandro mentioned, to help small businesses because they're the ones that have less access to things like strategic planning, help small businesses actually get a lot of clarity so that they can grow their business. So that's what's underway.
So we are. I know that some people maybe is listening to us for the first time, or maybe they have been for a while listening to us. So I just want to put like the foundation of the conversation and where are you coming? Who is Judy and why? Let's start with you first.
Okay.
Then we can talk about the course. But why you? Why we need to listen to what you have and what you are doing, and for how long you have been doing this?
Okay. Well, I have been in my own business, the Center for Strategic Change. I am the founder and the CEO, and I launched that company 30 years ago. So I have been doing this a long time with my clients. Of course, obviously, they were offline a number of those years since the internet didn't even exist initially. But I work with clients in the areas of strategy. So we design and help them implement strategy. Now, to design it, we facilitate strategic thinking sessions, design and implement full-blown strategic planning projects. We conduct market research, or we help the client conduct market research. And then we help them do the strategic thinking so that they can identify what are their, we call them key strategic initiatives, but what are the priorities that they need to address in order to achieve the vision. And that's a piece that we help them figure out. What are those priorities that they need to address in order to achieve the vision? Because that's what keeps them moving forward. And then we stay with them through the first year of implementing their strategic plan to ensure that they're actually doing it, because sometimes they can get distracted, and also to help them measure. When we help them create the strategic plan, the action plan, after they've done their strategic thinking, we also include a piece in there. Now, how are you going to measure your progress? How will you know you've achieved whatever goal or benchmarks that you set in your planning? So we stay. And then I also do executive coaching. So that's me in a nutshell.
And you said several times a lot about the strategic planning, strategic working, and all. So I want to go. Sometimes strategic can be something completely different for each person.
Oh,
So
bet.
let's start to like understand what is strategic planning from your point of view.
Okay. Let's just start with the word strategy. Causes all kinds of confusion in not only the marketplace, but in people in business. So you were right on, Alejandro. Let's just start with what is strategic planning. And it is a process that businesses, nonprofit organizations use to help them determine where are they right now, where do they want to be in whatever time frame they determine, and then how will they get there, and how will they measure, how will they know they actually arrived. So it's a process that you work through, and the process I use has 7 steps. And I'd say it's sequential. It's important to go through the steps in the order that they're laid out, but our brains don't always work that way. So you'll be thinking about one of the steps while you're also working on another. So the steps include things like planning. It's so essential when you move into a strategic planning process, because it's a process. And the reason, I have to tell you back, I'm going to take a step back. The reason I'm creating this course is because this is a process that I'm going to say every business owner should know. It is the process that makes things simple for you to work through. It helps you make decisions easier and faster, and it reduces stress. And I've seen it over the years. It reduces stress. Business owners, leaders are calmer. They get through things in less time, and they don't have the drain on their energy because they know what they're going to be doing. They know what their priorities are. So back to the steps. The first step in the process is planning. And that seems almost counterintuitive when you say, oh, this is strategic planning, but you have to plan. And the reason I include this first step, because a lot of other consultants, facilitators don't, is you have to plan how are you going to arrange your work days so that you can actually get through this process. And then once you get through this process, you have to plan how are you going to sustain the effort. So it's things like what resources do you already have? Taking a look at where's your heavy workloads during whatever time frame you're looking at. You don't want to start this if you're just inundated with work. You need some time to actually do the thinking. So the first step is planning. Then there's another step where I call it understanding the environment in which your business operates. And that is really getting your market research done. What's happening in your external environment that's impacting your business, and what's happening in your internal environment. Because so often when we talk market research, people immediately think, okay, I got to figure out what's going on externally, but there's also the internal that impacts. And then we go on to the process I use has a piece called refining the foundation elements. And this is a piece that's so important to me because this is where all the decisions come from. And the first piece of that is getting really clear on your core values. What are the core values that guide your decisions, your actions, the behavior, if you have staff, employees, vendors, and they also form the culture of your company. So it's a really important piece to start from. And then we move on to what's technically called the mission or the purpose of your business. And again, that seems so simple. But when you ask people to state it in a simple, clear statement, it becomes much harder. You need to be able to state it simply and clearly so that anybody who doesn't know your business would have a general understanding. And then we move on to where do you want to be? And that's crafting the vision for wherever they want to be in 3 years, 5 years. The typical time frame that most organizations that I deal with now is 3 years, simply because things are changing quickly. It used to be 10 when I started doing this, and then it moved it closer to 5, and now it's 3. And in some industries, it's just 1, like healthcare. They're just, and IT is 1. And then we move on to what are those priorities that you need to address in order to achieve that vision? And they become transformed into key strategic initiatives. And the next step is we design the game plan, the action plan, because that's the whole point of strategic planning, is get clarity, figure out the priorities, and take action to achieve them. So we design the action plan and then do the measurement, implement, measure, and adjust if needed. So it's an ongoing process. It's not something that you do once and then you wait 4 or 5 years. It's a continual process, because as you achieve some things, there's going to be other priorities that you then put on your plate. So that's the process.
And let's start to think from the point of view of the people that is hearing right now, that maybe they already have a business. It could be a little one, a big one. Who do you think is going to really start to have, like, they need this program?
Okay. The course I designed it specifically for small business owners. So for small businesses that might be brick and mortar or they might be online, for solopreneurs, independent contractors, people who are writing a business plan. This is ideal for if you're thinking about writing a business plan for funding, or people that are applying for grants, because so many grants these days are asking for your strategic plan. So that's what it's really designed for the smaller businesses. And that's because, well, first of all, smaller businesses they're still having the lingering effects of the pandemic. You know, they went through so many changes and their environment changed so much that they've gotten back on their feet, and they're at the point where maybe they're ready to start thinking about growth again. They're moving out of the survival mode. But the other piece of it is a typical strategic planning project is done in such a different manner than what this online course is. It's typically in bigger organizations, the leadership team would take probably a day or back-to-back days, 2 days, and they actually have typically gone off-site so that they can get away from the demands of the day-to-day. But small business owners can't do that. And that's one of the challenges in terms of using strategic planning in small businesses. They need to be able to stay in their business, but yet be able to carve out time where they can actually focus for an hour on one element of the strategic planning process. They can't go for a day or two away, plus that's an added expense, plus being away from their business. So it's a cost-effective way to do this and still gain the benefits. And it's
that is really important what you are saying now, because sometimes it's like I don't have time, and that was going to be like the next question: what happens when I feel that I don't have time, that I am still in the survival mode, and I have to make it happen, and nothing is working, but I am doing my best, and I am working 12 hours per day. How I am going to have another hour to do the planning?
Okay, so what I've done is I've taken it and I've carved it out in a regular work day. And you know, we all know that our work days are different, but it's scheduled so that it could be, well, it'll be 11 a.m. Central Time. It could be right over someone's lunch if they even take, you know, business owners have flexible lunches too, at noon, so that you could fit it into, I hope you take a lunch, because that's important for you as a business owner to be able to eat. But we can fit it right into the day so that you're not taking time necessarily outside of your business. You can build it into your business day. And quite frankly, having time within your business day to carve out time to think about your business instead of having to, you know, as work in the business and do all the tasks is important to your business success. So the course would be 6 weeks where you just carve out 1 hour, 1 day a week to participate online and gather the information that you need to create your strategic plan.
And I know that you're focusing on the small business owners, and normally they have maybe from 1 to 20, 30 people, maybe not more than that. What happens if the owner is so busy that he's thinking like, I am going to delegate this, and yes, it's interesting, but I want somebody else to go through that and see if your course works?
Well, it's first of all, it's a great opportunity for a business owner to start to develop leadership in other members of your staff. But I've designed this so that once you enroll in the course, you have lifetime access to it. And you could bring someone with you to the course. First of all, it's online, so they could sit and be part of the actual course. Because part of the strategic thinking that goes on in the front end piece of this, while you're trying to decide what are the priorities, what are those key strategic initiatives you want to pursue, part of that is a brainstorming almost. And if you're the kind of business that does have staff, you might want to either bring them to that session, or you might want to do a little session afterwards with just your staff to brainstorm what should be our priorities. So you are welcome to bring somebody to sit in on the 1 hour weekly class. And then again, you have lifetime access to it. So the recordings are available to you. And You have lifetime access as long as this course is available. If I'm going to be offering it again next November, if you want to come and sit in on that course, you're certainly welcome to do that. Because part of this is my way of giving back to small business owners what I've learned over the years from, let's just call it, larger business owners, business leaders in larger organizations. And small businesses just don't have the resources available to them that larger corporations have. You don't have necessarily the flexibility. You have a slimmer margin of profit. You've got that crunch for time, and you oftentimes don't have backup. I mean, a lot of solopreneurs, you're out there on your own. And if you don't have a team built around you, whether it's virtual or whether it's in your own office space, you're a solopreneur, and you've got to be able to figure out, where do I want to take this business? And then how am I going to do that? And this is such a cost-effective way to do it so that you can stay in your business, work your business, and carve out 1 hour, 1 day a week for 6 weeks.
So, quick question. You are talking about something. You said, I want to give back. Mm-hmm. And I want to hear a little bit more. Now it's in the heart of Judy. Why you feel that you have to give back? Let's start to go more deeply inside of you.
Okay. This is Alejandro's favorite part of a conversation.
Yeah.
The opportunity I had to start my business, and we all start a business from different places. And I started my business after I got laid off. And I just decided I wasn't going to put myself in that position again where somebody said, no, you're not going to earn an income. That if I was not going to earn an income, it was going to be because of me. So I started my business, and I have been so blessed with, this is the piece that is really close to my heart. I have been so blessed with being able to work with such really, really good people. My clients are just amazing people that are making a difference in the world. They're in healthcare, they're in education, they're in industry, they're all different types of industries and employment circumstances. And they are just truly, truly, they have been an inspiration to me. They bring me in to facilitate them because they get muddled and they want to get clear on where they want to go. But it has been a blessing to me to be able to serve them. And I just feel so strongly about small businesses and the challenges they faced, not only in the pandemic, but in the challenging times we're facing now. And just having been a young business owner, I remember how hard it was to get this thing going and to get it, well, I'm going to say to get it to where it is now, but as you move through different cycles of your business, how hard it is to realize that, yes, I'm on the right path. Yes, I'm making the progress I want to make. And I just want to be able to help those young entrepreneurs so that they can not only be successful, but they can do it without being discouraged, and that they don't have to give up other parts of their life to do it. Because here's the other piece, Alejandro, and you and I have talked about this. As I've worked with clients over the years, and as I've observed other businesses, as I was trying to learn from other businesses, I have seen really, really successful people in their business. They're really, really good. But because of the energy they devoted to that business, there wasn't enough energy yet left over to pay attention to other aspects of their life, whether it might be a spouse or time with their children, or they maybe haven't even had time to take care of their own health. And I have seen business owners end up with divorce, with strained relationships with their children, with serious, serious health issues. and things like substance abuse, and they're not sleeping. And if there's something I can do because of what I've learned along the way to help younger business owners build their business and still preserve the other parts of their life and take care of their health, that's what I would love to do.
And I really love that. That's why I wanted to see your heart here.
See me get all teary.
Thank you for showing your heart, because now people can know exactly why they have to connect and buy this program. I am going to tell here in this, you can see bit.ly bizgrowth 23. That's the link where you can go. And also there is also a QR code here in the page that you can use to go directly. If you are looking in a TV and you want to check what we are talking about, you can go there.
So before we leave this, what's close to my heart conversation, the piece I just want to share with your viewers, your listeners, is that I see and I know how much energy goes into building a business. But then I see what happens on the other side of the coin. And if there's one thing I could tell to young business owners is please take care of both sides, because what ends up happening, like in a divorce, you can lose that whole business asset or at least half of it. And it's so sad after you've built it to have to lose it that way. So that's really the piece that motivates me.
And okay, let's start to think, because I know that people that is listening can be like, okay, now I started to understand that it's important for me to start to think about the planning that I have to do, and not only the planning, but the strategic planning that I need for my business. But we started to talk a little bit about like, okay, I don't have time. What happens when they start to say like, okay, but my business is too small, I am not ready to start to buy a big course or a big program to help me? What happens with them?
Well, first of all, you're never too small, because if you started your business, this is when you really need to do strategic planning. And when you ask me what happens to them, if you don't do strategic planning, what ends up happening is you end up using more resources than you might need, or you're chasing down all kinds of divergent paths because you haven't figured out where are those priorities that you really need to focus on, or you don't have a clear picture of where do you want to be in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. And then you're scattered. So what happens is you lose focus. You end up using more resources than you need, meaning we're spending more money than we need to be spending, because we just haven't got that clear picture of, I call it, you're just zeroed in and you know exactly where you're going. Because what I hear from business owners is there are so many options. I am so confused. I'm overwhelmed and I'm overworked. And how can I take on one more thing when there's not enough hours in the day right now? And I can tell you, there's not enough hours in the day right now because you haven't gotten the clarity you need to stay focused and stay on that straight and narrow. Because once you get this figured out in a strategic plan, you will have 3 to 5, hopefully no more than 5. 3 is the real sweet spot of key strategic initiatives. And so when something comes into your environment, something comes into your orbit that says, hey, we want you to do this, you take your filter of those 3 key strategic initiatives and you evaluate it against those. And if it's aligned, you might say yes. If it's not aligned, you say, oops, no, not at this time. This isn't the thing I need to be spending my energy and my resources on. If it's someone that you would want to refer to someone else, that's wonderful because it builds goodwill, but it keeps you on that straight and narrow. It's what there's just so many distractions when you're building a business. and so many people wanting you to do this, that, and every other thing.
No, especially if you are with the social media, suddenly like there is a lot of good things or that are happening that are exactly for your business, and you if you don't have the strategic planning, you're going to start to spend money in different things, and suddenly you feel that nothing is working, and you go back and go to your work because really pay because your business didn't work. And the problem wasn't really that your business was not a good idea, not because of any other reason, but you didn't have a strategic planning that could filter everything that you are listening.
Yes.
There is a million of things amazing outside, but really which one is the one that is going to help you?
Right.
Depends on your plan.
And filter is a perfect word, because everything that comes into your, I don't know what to call it, your sphere, you get to filter against your 3 to 5 key strategic initiatives. And when I say 3 to 5, 3 is really the sweet spot, because for each one of those key strategic initiatives, you develop a goal, and then you might have several objectives. And this is where it gets really technical, and I don't want to spend a lot of time in the weeds, but you might have 3 pieces that you're going to be working on. And for each one of those pieces that you're working on, you build out a detailed action step. So it's like building the roots of a tree and then the branches, and it just keeps kind of snowballing. So you don't want to have too many, which is about getting the clarity. Once you get the clarity, you can start to sift and winnow.
And really with what you are saying comes to my mind, like, I don't know if something that it's being said, when you want to do a conversation of 3 hours, you don't have to prepare too much, because you just like, okay, these are the things that I'm going to talk, and you start to talk and talk and talk, and suddenly you are going to find a place. But when you want to do it in 10 minutes or in 5 minutes, you want to leave a message, you have to be very careful and understand which words you are going to use, how you are going to do it.
Yes.
And suddenly you have to have a lot of clarity to really be ready to give a message in 5 minutes. So it's completely different on the time that you need to spend. What you are saying here with the strategic planning is exactly the same. You can start to have a lot of options and talking and working or being busy the whole day with a lot of things that you are trying to do and just checking if something works. What happens if you start to change that? And that's why for me this is great that we are doing this in January, and that it's like, okay, let's start the year in a good way, because we can be thinking like, start to, okay, 3 big things that I have very clear goals that I have to implement. Suddenly having the clarity to do that can be very, very great.
Right. And part of the problem people have with goals is they try to just pick goals out of the air, and they haven't done all the pre-work of getting their market research done. They aren't clear on their core values. There's other things that they haven't done prior to setting the goal. And that's typically why goals fail, is because you've got to build the foundation first and gather the information that you're going to base those goals on. So there's prep work before you create the goal. And that's part of the strategic planning process, is you put these things together, and then once you figure out what are my priorities, then we create the strategic initiative, and we'll write the goal. And I'll help them with the goal, because there's a process and a pattern to that also.
So I decided, yes, I like what you are talking. I like your heart, because you share it with us. I understand why this is different from other courses or other products that I have seen in the past, but I can't afford it. What happens if I start to think like, oh, but I don't have the money to do it?
Well, first of all, if it's important enough, you'll find a way. A coach told me that a long time ago. And this doesn't just apply to having money to pay for something. If it's important enough, you'll find a way. But there's also, I've got a 2-payment option. And if that doesn't work for you, then just get on my calendly.com/strategic change, go to that link, and schedule a Zoom meeting with me, and we'll figure it out. There's ways that we can figure it out.
Yeah, and really what I like with this question about I can't afford it is what is the cost, the real cost that you are paying right now for not doing that strategic planning. What is
Well,
the cost that normally people does, and suddenly you have all these links. Yeah, you have this AI that now is going to fix all your problems in your business, and you bought that, and suddenly, okay, it's not solving anything because you have to actually put things in the AI that you don't know what to ask.
yep.
So let's talk about the cost of not doing it. Not talking about the program, but talking about not doing really strategic planning. What is what you have seen in businesses that are not doing it? What is normally the cost that they start to go through?
Okay, the cost, and I'm not going to put a dollar figure on it because it's so different for every big business. But the cost of not doing it is it's going to take you longer to get where you want to be, if you even get there. You're going to be spending more money on things you don't need because you think they're going to be the solution, but you don't really know what problem you're trying to solve. So you've got all these solutions, but it's not addressing the problem because you don't know what the real problem is. And I'll tell you, the internet is probably the biggest distraction that we have because there's all kinds of offers that come through the internet that we think, oh yeah, that's going to be the right one. And well, it's so easy to put money down on the internet, but then it doesn't work or it's not supported or whatever. So I'm just saying, be cautious. It also, I'm trying to think of what else I've seen when you don't do it is it impacts people that are in your organization. If you have staff, let's say you have virtual assistants, they don't know exactly where they're going because you don't know where you're going. But you're expecting them to be productive. You're expecting them to enjoy coming to work. And maybe they found ways to fill their time and ways to look busy, but it's not moving you in the direction that you want to go. And they're not being as productive. So again, you're spending more, but not getting the full effect of what you're spending. So it just is, businesses just they go in circles sometimes. They want to grow. They don't know how. They keep trying all these things. And that's where this churning comes from. And that's where the business owners, business leaders get, exhausted. That's where their health gets impacted. But they keep trying, and it's not going anywhere. And so if you're a solopreneur, sometimes they give up. And I hate to see people give up because sometimes it's just, let's get this clarified. Once you get it clarified, you can get on your way.
Yeah. So let's, and I like what you are saying. Let's go with the part like, okay, this is a process. You have 7-step process. Why they have to follow that in that order? Why you feel that is really important? How you have seen that work in other businesses? So what is?
Okay, I wish I had videos of some sessions that I could show your people that are listening or viewing, because it is such an amazing process. And it's not because I'm the facilitator. The process causes you to think strategically. And all of a sudden, it's usually after we get through the market research and they start making connections of, that's happening in the marketplace, but I'm doing this. So then why am I doing this if that's happening? And they start making all these connections, and all of a sudden lights go on. And it's just because of the synergy of their thoughts and the process. The power of the process is what I call it. The process is an incredibly powerful process because it's part of it is introspective. it makes business owners, first of all, really think about their core values. And that's the true foundation. Because so many problems that are experienced in the workplace are core values problems. You know, a core value problem can be choosing the wrong opportunity that comes along simply because it's got a good return of dollars, but it's not aligned with your values. It's not aligned with the values of the company. And so, yes, you're going to make some money, but boy, there's going to be a lot of friction internally during the time that you're working with that. And then it might take you down the wrong path. So it's the core values piece that really sparks the heavy duty thinking, because people don't really think about their values. You know, I can tell you any number of examples where I'll be in a session and I'll ask them, well, how does that manifest in your business? And they look at me like, what did you ask? What do you mean? How does that manifest in my business? That's my core value. Well, it's one thing to have a core value that you state. It's another thing to say, how does that really manifest in my day-to-day life or in my day-to-day work life? And once you can do that, that causes all kinds of things to shift. And all of a sudden, your employees start to get it too. They start to understand that core values are not just words that we put on a plaque in a lobby or on the back of a business card. It's how we interact with each other. It's how we speak to each other. It's how we interact with our customers. So that part of the process is somewhat philosophical. And it gets people thinking in ways that they don't typically think. Because, you know, most business owners are like tactical. Let's get going. We've got to do this, 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 and this. And it moves them out of the tactical thinking into the strategic thinking, which is where they need to spend at least 1 hour a week. Whether they're doing strategic planning or not, they need to spend time thinking strategically.
Yeah. So, and I love exactly what you are saying again, because really moving from the tactical to the strategic, moving from understanding what I really need to do and why these things and these values are going to help me to go further, faster. That is really good. So tell me a little bit more about what is included in the course, in the program that you created.
Okay, so it includes the online course, which is like 1 hour a week with me facilitating you through that piece of the course and having conversation about whatever you want to talk about related to the topic that we're on that week. So it's 1 hour live with me for 6 weeks in a row. It also includes the think sheets. There's think sheets for each of these steps to help you think strategically and get your mind into the right space so that you can actually complete that step. And then there's, in between each class, is another session that I call group coaching, where you can just drop in and we'll just talk about the topic of the week. Or if you have questions, we'll answer questions. So there's a group coaching session in between. And then there's also the opportunity to schedule an individual session with me. And I did this because as people begin thinking strategically about their businesses, they oftentimes either have questions that they don't want to share in front of a group because sometimes they're proprietary, or they just need to have a private conversation. So I've got individual office hours scheduled that they could just get online and schedule on my Calendly scheduler. And let's see. And then we have the lifetime access. You can bring a staff member, an advisor to sit in on any of the sessions that you want. Once you've completed the 6-week course, you have lifetime access to all the recordings. And you can use, you know, my goal in this is to help you understand the process so that you can replicate the process down the road with your own team, with your own business. And then I think that's it. Use it with your team. I mean, this is a course to help them do it on their own. Does that make sense? Do it with me, learn the process, do it with your team.
Yeah, and something that I know that you told me once about this is, once you understand how to really start to think this way, you can start to replicate it with other programs and other projects that you have for your business.
Well, it's just I know the power of the process. And that's why I'm going to just say adamant that business owners learn the process, because I've seen what happens. Now, when they replicate it on their own, one of the pieces is you sometimes need people to question your thinking. That's part of the power of the process. So then you replicate it and you do it with your team, or you bring in a group of people who are familiar with your business to help you to ask the questions that need to get asked. So replicate it, involve other people, use it to grow your business.
So this program is going to start next week, I believe,
Tuesday,
right?
Tuesday, the 24th, 11 a.m. Central Time.
So people has from now to next Tuesday to join. Are you going to have late joins if somebody wants to join later? How is going to be that?
Yes, we'll accept late registrations probably through that first week. Let's just say through the first week, because I can get them up to speed by giving them the recording the first week. But after that, it gets pretty involved in intense thinking. So hopefully they can all get in before the class starts.
Yeah, I hope so too. So everybody, if you want to join or you are thinking like, okay, this is great, but I don't understand how I can join or where I can join, we have the link here in the page where we are talking. It's this bit.ly/bizgrowth23. Or if you are in a TV, you can just take a photo of the QR code that it's exactly here.
Right above you. Yep, there you got it.
Exactly.
And what it does is it takes you to a one-pager, and it's called the course information and checkout page. And it's all on one page. So just keep scrolling down. It gives you all the details of the course and my background. And then at the bottom of the page, you can enroll, put in your name and the information that it's asking, and choose what type of payment plan you want. Then just click continue. There's a green button that says continue, and it takes you to a separate page to enter your credit card information.
So if anybody has any questions, I feel like it seems that maybe it's for me, but I am not sure. I am still like thinking, I have some questions. You can connect with Judy or even contact me, and I can redirect you with Judy just to have a conversation with her. And we have 1 week to take this decision. But you saw really what she's offering with the course. It's not only the course, but it's going to have a lot of time, group coaching and time with Judy just to understand. It's not like, okay, follow the course and see you next year and tell me what happened, but let's do it together and start to do it together. Any question that you have in the process, you can contact Judy directly. And that's why I see that the value is very good, very good, and the cost is very low when you are thinking that she's offering both things at the same time.
Right. There's a lot of value in the package that I put together. And I did it that way specifically because small businesses don't have access to this type of resource, typically in a manner in which it's easy for them to participate. And just to put the kind of the fee in perspective, that a typical strategic planning project offline typically starts at about $10,000. And I just know that's well beyond the means of most small business owners and solopreneurs. But they're the ones who really, really need this process, because we have the, I'm a small business owner. We have the smaller, let's say, the smaller basket of resources available to us. So the process is powerful, and I know you will benefit.
And really what you were saying, normally we go to school, we go to university, we go to a lot of programs just to learn different things and different skills. but very few of them are showing you and helping you to understand how to think. And that is exactly what you are doing here. It's like, okay, don't only follow a program, but let's learn together how to think.
Yes.
And not only think, but let's think strategically for your business so you start to grow and thrive. So that's something that is really, I think that unique, because I have seen a lot of programs, but really that maybe they are giving you, okay, these are the 7 steps and that's it. But how I can think and really plan ahead for my business is completely another thing.
Oh, it's very, you've hit it right on the head. And this is where the power of the process bubbles from. It's from the power of our minds. And oftentimes thinking together with others accelerates that. And the process, all I can say is the process is incredibly powerful. So if you just go through the steps and let yourself think, you're going to get the clarity that you need to move to your next step. And that's why I call it accelerate, because we can grow our businesses, what I'm going to call incrementally, which is, I'm a little further ahead than I was last year, and I'm a little further ahead. But most of us, when we got into our business, we had a dream. I mean, that's why we started this. We had a vision of something that we wanted to create that was different than where we were at that moment in time. And to reach that vision, you need a game plan. And business is create the vision for where you want to be, let's say in 3 years, achieve that, create the next vision, achieve it. Or maybe you want to take the quantum leap. And there's part of this process that can help you to take the quantum leap. But we don't want to just take the little baby steps and survive. I want you to thrive, to grow and thrive in all aspects of your life, not just in your business, because that is a piece of this also.
So something that, just as a summary of what we are talking here, first, we have the link below Judy. That's the link if you want to join. Here is the QR code if you want to take a photo and go directly. And the other thing, we have been talking a lot about the process that is going to help business leaders to get clarity. And that word is very important. Have clarity to whatever you are creating. So sometimes we have clarity, yeah, I have this program, but really I don't know how to do it. That's exactly what this program does, is help you think and start to have clarity on what? Core values, mission, vision, marketplace, strategic initiatives, action plan, and a lot of more things. And you can continue, like, if you are like, okay, this is not enough, you will have the meetings with Judy and you can continue taking more information from her. So I believe this is very, very important. And something, if you didn't hear last week's session, something that is very important is to understand part of the heart of Judy is not only about thriving in your business, but maybe you're going to lose your family or losing other important things for you, but how you can mix both things, not balance, but mix both things to be thriving and feeling happy and joyful that you have both things working.
Right. It's that harmony between your business and your life.
Exactly. So thank you, Judy. We are at the end of the program already. And thank you, everyone that was listening. You know that normally it's more about the story of the people. Today, I think that it's very important to give the opportunity to everyone to know that this is available, and they can, if they are very little, but they want to grow and they have a big dream, you have to take this course. If you already have something working, but you are not putting the time to think strategically, you need this course. If you already have 10, 20 people working for you, but you are not taking the time to do this, or you are not helping others to grow, you need this course. And that's why I believe this one was very important join today. And thank you, Judy, for making this available.
Well, thank you for having me on as a guest on your program, Alejandro. I truly appreciate it. And I just wish you and your listeners great success in 2023.
Thank you very much. And I hope that everybody really sees the value of all of this, because really the cost is very low for the value that you are bringing. So thank you very much, Judy. Wishing you the best also, and everybody that is listening. This show can also be heard on the Spanglish network. Please check out spanglishworld.ca for all the news and programming. The Spanglish World, watch it, hear it, read it, download it, and live it. Thank you, Judy. Thank you all. Bye-bye. See you next week.
Thank you, Alejandro.